Yeah, so we had a client that the wife wasn't very visual at all and the husband was quite visual, and so to connect those two together, it's always one of those situations where you've got to get them on the same page to understand the creativity, especially when they're doing a large spend. So this was a way that we could actually show them and visually walk through making decisions as they went, rather than her coming in halfway through and going, that's not what I expected, that's not what I thought it was going to be, because she couldn't visualise. So to actually take them by the hand, show them physically how to do it, it engaged her in a way that really, really was a game changer for us. And then on the flip side, he was very visual anyway, but there were aha moments through there that he was sort of saying, well, what about if we did this? And what if we changed this? So it really enabled them both to come onto the same page and excited them to the extent that, you know, they're loving now what the build is. And it also, through that build, they don't have to do as many site visits because it's already been done. You know, whereas before you would have to go to site so many times because of so many different things that they wanted to change because they didn't see it beforehand. So this has just been a total game changer for that. Yeah, absolutely. Look, I think it comes down to being able to present specifically what's it going to look like at the end. And instead of the anticipation of an 18 months at the end, this is what you get through that whole process, you're able to give them up front. So the excitement factor is a lot more mindful through that whole process than what it normally is. And it's also educating the client to show them, do you want to have an archway here, or would you prefer to have it square? Do you want the dormer window to be square, or do you want to have a circle on the top? So it's encouraging them to think and make decisions faster, and it's also enabling them to really have that interaction very, very early on. And to be honest, they're really blown away with when they see it. You get the aha moments, and that's what you want in that whole process, talking them through as if you're walking through the home. They're, you know, really going, wow, this is amazing. You know, I can see the space. I can see how I'm going to be cooking in that kitchen. I can see how I'm going to use the scullery. I can see the bedroom and where the bed's going to be facing. So their engagement and the excitement is a lot more than what it would be if you were just doing something like, you know, building the house and then waiting as we go. Look, I think now people are very mindful, the consumer is very mindful of programs that are out there, and they've watched a numerous amount of TV shows, so it's an expectation now that they want to be able to see it. I think gone are the days that you can just present a render. They go, oh, that's it. You know, I mean, back in my dad's era, you know, they used to actually build a 3D model, you know, in miniature size, and that's the only way that they could see it, but at least you could see it. So now with all these different technologies, you know, this is what the expectation is of a consumer. So I think it's something that has to be put into your system, has to be put in along the way at some point, because if you're not doing it, the next person is, and they're the people that are going to get the business. Definitely not, because it's just changed the face of how you do present and how they visualise your dream and their dream.